Okay, good evening, everybody. It is Town of Newfane Selectboard meeting, the regular meeting. It's Monday, March 18th, 2019, 6 p.m. and we're at the Newfane Town office. We have Mike Fitzpatrick, Chris Williams, Angela Sanborn, my mind, excuse my mind. I've had 2 hours sleep last night. Shelley Huber, we have Administrative Assistant Juanita Powling, and Jay Wilson, Road Commissioner and Road Foreman here, Road Commissioner. And I'm Marion Dallin. Do we have any additions or amendments to the agenda? I'd like to make an amendment to change part of our amendment agenda at the bottom where it says old business to go over the personnel policy and rules of procedure. I would like to put that off until our next meeting, because tonight we have many documents that we have to go through and sign, and we would like to give this due time. So if that's okay, anybody want to make a motion to accept that amendment, please?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Okay, anybody second? Okay, all those in favor of postponing the personnel policy and rules of procedure discussions, please say aye. Aye.
I have another thing, but I think we'll probably have to postpone it.
Wait a minute, we just have to finish
Okay.
it. Or is this a conversation about it?
No.
Oh, okay, so then we just have to vote on it first. Okay, so that's completed. We voted and that's approved for next week. The next time we meet.
April
Juanetta,
1st.
if you could put that on the agenda.
Yep.
Okay, what did you want to say, Shannon?
I wanted to add for amendments, but we have so much, about the Williamsville Hall building management. So I think that needs to be discussed.
Okay, I think we have to put that off the way so we could do that on April 1st.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Next item on the agenda is to approve the organization meeting, which was held on March 7th, 2019. If anybody can make a motion to approve the minutes, please.
Well, I'm not sure how it goes, but I have a correction. I have a question about it.
Okay, 1 second, let me just find it. Where are you on the page?
It's actually on the last page under other business. And I'd like to make an amendment to it.
Wait, let me get to it. Oh, of the business?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying there was a discussion, the discussion was from Greg Record, and I'd like him to be recognized as Greg Record asked the board why there were missing articles, such as listing the salary, etc., and as well as our hourly wages of the other officials in the town report since 2015. And then also Greg Record discussed with the select board, or Greg Record stated that the select board has done nothing wrong because they had not given themselves a pay increase in 5+ years. And
So
also-
you just want Greg Record's name put in this?
Yeah, because he was the one that brought up that
Okay,
discussion.
Okay. So Juanetta, if you can just add Greg Record's name as the person who brought up the other business. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay. So we made a motion to accept the minutes?
No, as
No.
changed.
As changed. Okay.
As changed.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. Somebody make a motion?
I make a motion to accept the minutes as
Okay.
changed.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
No,
Any
Aye.
opposed? No? Okay. So the minutes pass and that they're accepted, okay? Thank you. Next is road foreman and road commissioners report. And Jay?
Not really much to say, is there? Yeah. The new truck has been delivered and is in use. Mud season is upon us. And we've been working since Friday steady, trying to keep the road somewhat passable. We had 2 very easy mud seasons the last couple of years, so this one's more like what we used to have. Just a little hard to go back to after you've had a couple of good ones. We'll be having the initial meeting with Marble Valley Engineering next week at the box culvert on Depot Road. And the Kenny Pond project. We got the drawings back from the dam inspector, and it's kind of a detailed project now. So I've talked with Ron Bell, an engineer from Spofford, and he's gonna try to come up with an estimate of the amount of material it's gonna take. I have a feeling the project's gonna go way over any amount of money we have set aside for it. So unless there's grant money, I don't know how we're gonna proceed with this one. And Ron said he'd get back. Plus, part of the deal is with the dam inspectors, we have to hire an engineer to be on site while the work's being done. So that's an added expense too.
How long is that work? How long a period do you estimate?
I mean, it shouldn't take more than a week or so, but it's a lot more elaborate than what we had hoped to do.
Uh-huh.
So,
Did you find out because of you had to have the state look at it or something?
no, I don't know how it started. How did it all? They determined the dam, the spillway part of the dam was critical as far as,
Yeah,
so we've been, what, 5 years now?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, they had to patch that fluid
Yeah.
at one time, right?
yeah,
They patched and then they got looking at the dam, different things. Had to take the trees down.
Right,
Because the trees are doing more harm than anything.
yeah.
But it really wouldn't be a bad fix, but when you get them guys involved, it's,
Did I show you the drawings I came up with? I'll bring them over for you. It's pretty elaborate now. It goes out,
Yeah, if you
75
can
feet.
give us copies, it would be interesting to look at it.
So I'll keep you posted on that as we go along. I have the excavator bids out again. We mentioned it last meeting. If you want to rebid it, we can send those out. We're gonna have to kind of move along quickly. Otherwise we're gonna have to rent one here shortly once spring comes. So if that's what you want to do, I'll work with Winetta and we'll get them out again.
might as well, sit the minute.
What is that?
well,
Just a minute.
one of the bids, you don't have to redo, right?
Well, we still got the bid out there for one.
Yeah,
But it's up to you guys, however you wanna go ahead with it. They have one 2018 machine that's at a lesser price than if we have one ordered.
this is a cash.
Yeah.
Is this something where we have to have an extra meeting, or can we wait till our next regular select board meeting? But you're saying you want to do it soon.
Well, we can send the bids out and then you can just open them at the next
Okay.
meeting.
Do we have money set aside for it?
Yeah.
So, do we make a motion? Do we need a motion?
No, we should make one.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we put it back out to bid.
Okay.
I'll
Any
second.
second? Okay, second. Any discussion? Okay, all those
What
in
was,
favor?
well, I do have a discussion. How much was it originally? What was the bid at?
246, I can't remember, the new one came at like 236 or something like that.
Is that the one that has the arm on it for the
We got a mowing machine.
Mowing head and everything, yeah.
mowing head, and then it has the jam thing that would break the rock apart?
No.
No, that's something you would have to buy
That's
separately?
different, yeah, that's a different thing.
That's a hammer.
Yeah.
Hammerhead, right?
It's got the digging buckets, grading bucket, and a mowing head. It's got a bucket for ditching.
Uh-huh.
Then there's just a straight digging bucket. Then there's a mowing head on it.
Yeah, I guess we should go out to bid, I guess, just if we have the money for it.
We put aside the same, you can either do it as a lease or the do payments on a loan, but we put aside $32,000 a year, I think, for it, so.
Oh, as for lease, that's right, I
Yeah.
remember that,
Yeah.
yeah. We don't have money to buy it.
Not outright, no.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, all those in favor of getting the bids ready, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, Jay, if you want to
That's it.
move along with that. And then we had approved the contract with Marble Valley Engineers for the Depot Road box culvert, so I did sign that, and you're gonna take care of it. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you, Chris, also. Administrative Assistant report, please. Juanetta.
There's been some confusion about the amounts of donation in the town report. So we were going back through and looking at some of the line items, such as the rescue, which happens to be $49,916 on page 11 of the town report. But that appears again on page 19 under public safety. Also, the Wyndham Regional Commission of $3,866 also appears in the town assessment on page 19. So our treasurer has removed these two items from the special appropriations and put those into the assessment line, lowering the overall amount of the $95,585 to a more reasonable and accurate amount of $41,803. This does not change the budget amount, but just shows the line item flow. And it shows a more accurate flow on where the funds were.
Do you have a copy of that sheet where it's been changed? The 2 pages or whatever that you were referring to?
I don't, but it's on a spreadsheet that the treasurer has.
Okay.
After some other discussions, I've been asking about the accounts that the treasurer has, and in front of you, there's a report of proposed changes that we'd like to make to get better interest rates on some of the accounts that we have. We'd like to move some of the current accounts that we have into CDs. And it does show you a significant increase in interest that we would be getting if we moved them into a 13-month CD. The interest rate would be at a 2.15, where some of the accounts that you're currently getting are less than $2.06 interest that you're getting now. And we'd like to go down to the bank tomorrow if you approve the change, and that would go back into the capital fund as income. So the money would actually be making money. And I think it was over $12,000 that we would be gaining in interest.
So the question I have is that it's a CD and it's a 13-month CD. So if you take it out before 13 months, are you penalized?
You would be penalized, but it's part of the capital fund account, which has already been set aside for 5 to 6 years in some of the accounts that are projected for truck repairs or replacement vehicles. Some of these are capital reserve funds, memorial upkeep.
So how does that affect our running budget, our running year budget?
It didn't affect the budget. Melissa said, like, the Fred Adams Fund, which has a balance right now of $691, she would take that from the general fund if it needed to come out of there. It would not affect the overall spending. And putting it into a 13-month CD, we can't see where we would need those funds before that time was up.
That's my question. So, but also capital reserve, 51,000.
But I think that goes towards that, like that there, it's every year we're putting in some for the arch bridge.
Mhm.
So we only be touching that till
Okay.
like 2021 or something like that.
Mhm.
Is it 21?
I think so.
For the
So that's another
arch
3 years away,
Right.
so.
It's like the grader, we're putting money aside for the grader, but that's not
Right.
ordered.
So right now, that's drawing how much? It's not drawing very much interest right now, where the
No.
other,
Some of your accounts right now are $1.40 in interest, $1.04. We are looking at increasing that up to $1,200.
all right, so right now, yeah, I see here, it's that capital reserve is, if you put it in for the 13 month, it's 12.
120177.
Yeah, right now, we're getting $104.
Correct.
So in that 4 years, it'd be, about $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
What about the monument upkeep? What monuments are we upkeeping?
I'm not sure. These
Probably-
are five,
probably the
these are
one that
five
carved it for
CDs
us.
currently at,
Probably it's the one that carved it for us, the monument.
Is it the one on Newfane Common?
I don't think so, because then it has its own fund,
I
isn't
don't
it?
think there is a monument up there.
You know, the monument, what do you got, the one up here on the corner?
Yeah,
Would that be
one we
something
have to
that's
take
on
care
the
of.
commons here?
That's one we need to move that's been hit twice.
On the common or the flower thing?
The one that right at the corner.
Yeah, the flower thing, the watering
Yep.
trough.
well, currently on that monument fund, you're only getting 96 cents.
Well, it'd be interesting to find out what that monument fund's supposed to be for. We should have a listing of all the monuments that we need to take care of. So that might be where it's somewhere. And the reappraisal fund, that has to do with what? A reappraisal of properties?
Listers, yeah.
Whenever you see where it says reappraisal fund,
Yes.
what is that reappraisal fund?
That would be part of the budget for next year. So it's already been budgeted for 2020. So we wouldn't actually be using that until after the 13 months was already up.
But that is for like reappraisals for housing or properties?
Yes, it'd be part of that, yeah.
And the village tree grants, is that from the trees that were planted alongside the road?
I would only assume yes.
We did have, probably before Jay's time, we had, you said there were trees planted alongside the road, so it probably came through a grant.
They did.
Yeah, so like this is like residual monies.
Anybody have any further questions or comments about this?
Well, the other question I have is that having Melissa and Juanetta being the signers on the account, is that normal? Is that how you normally proceeded in the past? I would think it would be the select board.
What is it that you're asking? I'm sorry.
Whether or not, it says here that they would be signers on the account.
Right. Well, I think it's always done by the treasurer.
Always on the treasurer.
And
By
then
the
like,
treasurer?
Yeah.
yeah, and then the assistant, and then it's either that or the town clerk.
Why do we have to do this tomorrow?
We don't have to do it tomorrow.
Oh,
Certainly, we can wait off.
I mean, you know what, I would like to suggest that Melissa Brown comes to the next select board meeting and goes over this with us,
Okay,
okay?
yep,
And then I think we'll have a better understanding since we have some questions. Is that okay?
certainly.
Okay. So we're going to put this aside for now.
Table it.
Table it. We are going to table it. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
the other thing is on Friday, I have a grant writing in Bellas Falls, so I'll be leaving at noon on Thursday. And that is from 9 to 4. And then I also had to register for the DER, which is part of the designated employer representative for drug and alcohol testing for the commercial vehicles. And I have a call into Bauman for the website posting. I was shown how to post the agenda and the minutes on the website, but I don't know how it appears other than in the latest news on the right-hand side. And I don't know how it gets into the minutes and the meetings and the drop down on the top. So that's something that I have to either have him show me or
Yeah, he's
he'll-
great. He's
Yeah.
great. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to help you.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions or comments for Juanetta? Okay, thank you very much. That's a detailed report. Does anybody have a motion to accept the report,
Make a
please?
motion, that's it.
Second it.
Okay. Anybody have any more discussion?
I have a question. I have a question regarding how the select board is supposed to interact with the administrative assistant and understand what's happening in the town.
So I don't understand your question. How are we supposed to interact with her?
Yeah, as select
I
board
don't know what that
members.
means.
That means like how the business is done for the town. I mean, we're responsible for the operation of the town.
Right, and so she's the administrative assistant, and she has a job description,
Right.
and that's what she's doing. And in the beginning, since she's new, I've been coming in, and I mentioned that if any other board member would like to come in and offer assistance to her.
I know,
she
we've
wants it.
talked about that,
Yeah.
so
So,
I guess the question is how is that done?
how is it done?
Yeah.
Well, I walk in here, I drive down
Well,
here.
no, that's being,
Or,
that's,
no, I'm
not
serious,
trying to be
no, I
sarcastic
don't
about it.
understand what you mean, how's it
Well,
done? I come
because we
over,
had talked about all of us board members taking part in understanding what's going on.
no, what I said was that, I have been coming in, and I said, we're 5 people on the board, and it would be great if, if other board members could come in and check in with Juanetta, see if she needs anything, or, there's some things, certainly she has questions for me that I don't know.
Mhm.
And then hopefully I'm able to guide her to the right person. I know Chris comes in, Mike was here the other day. I come in often, but I did that all along. Since I've been a select board member, I just come in, 'cause,
Yeah.
so that it's not a formal thing, it's an informal way to find out how Juanetta's doing. This is just the beginning for her. So,
Right.
so what do you have in mind for yourself?
Well, I came in the other day and asked some questions and we were talking, but I guess then if I have questions or something, I have to bring it to the board to have.
Like give me an example.
Well, for instance, like the Williamsville Hall, I was chatting with her and there were 13, 14 infractions regarding our insurance, that was going against our getting insurance or retaining insurance for the Williamsville Hall. And I didn't realize that we had that
Well,
many.
there's a committee, a Williamsville Hall committee.
Right, but are they in charge of that?
They're in charge of, aren't they in charge of the business? Yeah.
The insurance things were for here.
There was also some from December of this past year for Williamsville.
And those were all corrected.
They were low
Yeah,
items.
Yeah, and they were already corrected after he came that day,
Uh-huh.
so.
So I guess it's just wondering, how all those things are done and who's taking responsibility for them.
Well, for example, the Williamsville Hall, they have their own committee. And they do come to the board, but they're the ones who oversee the building, the good and the bad of it, the renovation of it, the use of it. That's what they do.
So are they in charge of doing the contracts for Williamsville Hall? Because I thought that was part of the board's
Well, they come
responsibility.
here, and we have meetings, and they talk, talk about the things they'd like to do and how much it costs. You've been on the board while they were here.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
that
so
part.
that, and then we approve or not approve. what's
But
going on.
I don't know what they exactly do. I mean, I knew that was happening, you know?
Well, they have a report that unfortunately didn't go into the bound copy of the town report, but so it was given out, you were not at the town meeting,
Uh-huh.
but it was given out at the town meeting, their annual report.
Okay, but the rent from last year was only like $400 or less for renting the hall.
Right, and we talked about that with them and we came up with ideas, so.
So
What
there-
is it that you're missing with them, that you feel that we should be doing?
Well, in other words, they can't spend no money unless they go through us.
That's right.
Yeah, so they have to go through us, I mean, they go out, we let them go get the bids.
Yeah, but it's also the contracts too, the rental contracts too, that need to be taken care of. I
But
mean-
that's
I
what
do
they,
that
that's
here.
their job.
I do that here and I book the hall here.
Okay, so she does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have the contracts signed here. They come and pick up the key here.
Right.
They leave the deposit and then I go and inspect it after
So you handle all that?
I
Yeah.
do the bookings, yeah.
Yeah.
Said that last
But
year.
can I just say something, unless this is on the agenda, and you're concerned about
Well,
Winetta.
that's just for instance, you
Okay,
asked me.
because we're going way off.
Right,
We're going way
how
off.
we interact with, with Winetta and, you know, we're not, we have, any decision we would have to bring to the board if we were faced with a question or something.
Right. So does that make it clearer, or are you talking about, you just brought up, you started with just asking how to deal with
Right, and
supporting
you asked me,
Winetta.
for instance, and I give you a for instance, you know.
Okay.
So it's just making sure that things don't fall through the crack, I guess, you know?
I don't think they will. I mean, that's why they have committees. And really when I was saying, you know, it'd be nice if the board members came in, I'm talking about in the first month or two with Winetta being a new person. She had just a few weeks of training with Shannon.
Right.
And I'm sure she got training, but there's so much more to do. And so, I mean,
So then overall, we just let the administrative assistant just manage the town stuff, other than the stuff that we get brought before us.
well, she has a
right,
job description
Yeah.
that she's following. And Shannon gave her a year-long list of
Right.
what projects are due at what times. And yes, the way Shannon worked on her own, but whoever's the chairperson is in charge, for example, with the agenda every week.
Mhm.
So that's the main reason I come in. But in addition to that, because Winetta's new, I stop in more often
Mhm.
on the week and I say, hi, how are you? You know, what are you doing? And sometimes I can help her and sometimes I can't. I don't know the answer. Winetta called me the other day and I didn't know the answer and I said, it was something she and Melissa were working. I said, I would suggest Melissa call Shannon for a minute. Shannon had offered to be, you know, of assist over the phone, so they did.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's that kind of thing. But,
Yeah,
but when you're talking about projects where there are committees, you know, then we deal with the committees, such as you gave the example of Williamsville Hall.
right.
So it's not that we have to be involved with every single project because each committee has to be formed and approved of by the select board. Like if you wanted to join planning commission right now, for example, your name would come up to the board and we would say, oh, we approve. You know, so everybody who's on a committee does get approved to be on that committee.
Yes, I know, we
Yeah.
went through that.
Right,
We went through that. I've only been on it for a year,
right,
and Angela's not been on it before,
right.
so it's always good to have a discussion. You guys are old hands at it apparently, but, you know,
Well, I'm
as
still learning and that's
Right.
I still don't know.
but with a new administrative assistant to the board,
Yeah,
I mean, we relied on Shannon last year,
Right.
my first year in. I just, you know,
right.
so I think just having an understanding of how we interact with her, if there's, you know, we should be checking in on her a little bit more versus just letting, or do we just let the administrative assistant make decisions?
Well, there's really no decisions she can make without our approval anyways. I mean, she does pretty much what we, explained to her to do. Other than that, you're here to pretty much get the questions and then come back to us with it.
Yeah, the broad questions.
Hmm?
Broad
Right,
questions.
and like
Or
somebody comes,
specific questions.
yeah, I mean, they can't just go up and tell somebody go ahead and do it without our permission
Right.
and stuff. But it does, I mean, I see where you're coming from, yeah, it is good, I mean, it's good to, I think it's gonna be a learning curve for all of us.
Of course.
For the new,
Of course.
because I think we did let things lapse pretty good, last year or so,
Mhm.
She just had everything right in front of us, so we come in, the meeting went by so damn quick, we didn't know what the hell even happened sometimes,
Right, so I think asking questions is gonna be more helpful for all of us, I mean,
Right.
especially the two of us.
And it's just like, Greg come in the other night about the town report, with the things that wasn't on it, and that has always been on there, maybe not the last couple of years, but it was legitimate, and it is a thing, it's just like that one year he brought it up, like he said, he brings it up about every year. And the one year they actually increased the pay. Right
Yeah.
there, they do it right there on the floor, they show their salaries like for the
With the
elected,
treasurer.
the treasurers and town clerk and different ones like that,
Right,
and elected, and they voted on the floor to increase it for what we had in the budget, so they actually made out better. So it's, I mean, I can see that where being an elected official, I mean, the town's the one that hire them anyways, so they're kind of in charge of their pay too. So I
yeah,
can see that, and I didn't realize it wasn't in there. And then like the whole line item that where I just answered the questions on that she just redid. And I
yeah,
knocked it from 90 something to 40 something.
right, because I can see.
That wasn't in there this year either, which usually that's kind of line on. And, a lot of people come to the town meeting and stand up and talk about each one of them things they do.
Yeah, when you're requesting what, a new one, a new appropriation, or anything over $2,000, the history has been that they need to send a representative from that nonprofit agency.
Well, you know what, we're really getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. We have an agenda that we have to follow. And we have somebody who's here, a scheduled member of the public who's come in. So, we can talk about it again, but I feel like our responsibility is to follow the agenda. Okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay. So we need to have a motion to accept the administrative assistance report.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of acceptance, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? Okay. Okay, thank you, Juanetta, very much for your report. And right now, we're going to go to scheduled members of the public. And, hi, are you Kirt?
Yes, I am.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Jay, for coming. Have a good evening.
So again, for the record, my name is Kirt Mayland. I am actually live in Connecticut. I'm an environmental lawyer that does. I focus on ground-mounted solar projects, usually in gravel pits and brownfields and things like that. I've done a couple here in Vermont, 2 up in Highgate and abandoned sand pits, and then I helped develop the old the capped landfill in South Burlington. I can give you more of my background, but I've been doing this for about 10 years. Most of my activity's been in Massachusetts and Rhode Island because of the markets down there. But again, as I indicated, I have done some things in Vermont. I became interested, frankly, just driving by in the old flea market that I saw for sale, and ended up entering into a very short-term agreement with the landowner to explore the possibility of doing it's about a 650, in Vermont it would be about a 650 kW size facility, which is about 2.5–3 acres. You can't do much more than that in Vermont. unless you do it according to this annual sort of request for proposals they put out. And the only way in Vermont, under the new rules, which were developed over a year ago, you can do anything over a 150 kW, which is like an acre, is if you are on what they call a preferred site. And this is I think it's a statutory thing. I'm too much of a lawyer. I worry about whether it's a regulatory or a statutory. It's a statutory designation. So basically they say, and they were trying to keep people off of farm fields and clearing forests and prime forests and things like that, which the solar community really would do without a problem. I mean, there are a lot of real estate developers in our world that just aren't very environmentally sensitive. So I get why the state did that. Frankly, Massachusetts is heading in that way too. Long story short, preferred sites in Vermont, which means you can do above a 150 up to 500, say up to about 3 acres. You can do them on landfills, brownfields, contaminated sites, that is, or like played out gravel pits, or, and this is why I'm here, if the town designates the site via a letter, basically to the Public Service Board, that they consider it a site that they want solar. I don't know how you feel about the site. You know, as I indicated to the owner, if you guys don't want it, nothing I can do about it. I can't push it. It's not the end of the world. It's a good site from an environmental perspective because it's clear. There's like one tree, I think, in the middle. The line looks like it's good. The electric line looks like it's good. It looks like it's good based on the GMP maps too. It's right along the side of the road. It's got some shrubs existing, and we would do our best to shrub it. You will be able to see it though. So again, this is completely up to you. If you don't, I put some pictures together here. These are really rough to show you. These are sort of 3D. If you don't want it, if you're like, yeah, we've got a couple in town. I know we have a couple, I think, at a landfill, right? And maybe somebody sending power to school or something. I get it. But it's something, you know, it's something you. Yeah, I got a flat version.
Is this
too.
something we can keep?
Yes, yeah. So again, this is, you know, there's no zoning in these cases. The Public Service Board, with respect to solar, really governs. But you guys have complete control because it's got to be preferred site. And I can't put a 150 there because it's just too small to make it affordable. You know, I was going to come in and pitch the sale of net metering credits to the town as a potential benefit, but I think you already have contracts via the big solar project in Brattleboro, I think, on the landfill, at least from what I read. Financial benefits, the taxes on these things usually run, the personal property taxes usually run about $10,000 a year. At least that's what our experience is at Highgate. It's kind of set by state formula. I don't know what the real estate taxes are. A little bit different. I would say probably about another couple thousand just on the dirt. Again, it's not game-changing numbers. I don't know if anyone else is looking at the site for something more commercial. Maybe this is a good thing in you know, to stop a potential development. Again, you know, we're quiet. We don't make any noise. There'll be no lights. These won't move. I don't think we're looking at trackers. You will be able to see it when you're driving along Route 30 going up to the
How
mountains.
many years? What is the contract on?
It would be we'd look for at least 20 years. It's a little bit hurried too because they're going to be changing the rates. You know, Vermont, like every state's gotten better. They threw a bunch of money at solar like 5 years ago. And then as our costs have come down, they've really ratcheted the incentives down. And they're going to ratchet them down again in July. So, you know, I'm in a bit of a jam because I've got to get a completed certificate of public good application in. They've got to stamp it complete before they change the rates. And that can take 2 or 3 months to put together with environmental reports and aesthetics and things like that. So
These don't need Act 250, right?
Act 248. Yeah, it's very similar. So it's a rush. Trying to do it during the wet season, a little bit of snow on the ground, get it all done and wrapped up and complete in 2 or 3 months is tough, but we could do it. That's about it. I tried to get here last month, as I think you know. I had the flu for about 3 weeks. I felt like 3 weeks. So I should have come about last month, or given you a little bit more time, or me a little bit more time, I should say, to ponder this, and then post this. You know, this, by the way. So then I'll stop talking after this, and I'll take questions. So this would be to get a letter saying we consider this a preferred site. Then I've got to go to the Regional Planning Commission, Regional Planning Council. They have to do the same thing. Usually, if the town's happy with it, I'm guessing they'll probably be happy with it. I need both. I can't have one say yes and the other say no. It won't work. And then that's it, really. Then I go forward with the Certificate of Public Good application, and that's not your last chance. This isn't your only chance to comment on this. I think you're an obligatory party to the Certificate of Public Good process, so you'll be involved and you get all the materials, the real site plans all along the way, so you can make sure that if I sit here and tell you I'm going to screen both sides, that you'll be able to look at my plan when I submit it and be like, make sure I do what I say I was going to do. So you'll be a party to that. But
Now, you guys purchase the land, you say?
I would purchase it. It's an option right now. He's given me about a year to put it together. You know, it would probably take me about 6 months. I mean, and listen, if you guys say no tonight, then I call them tomorrow and say put it back on the market. It's fine. It's not like I had my engineers put that together. It took them 15 minutes. I don't want to sit here and tell you I don't want it. I think it would be good. But
What's the name of the company? Is this in here?
those are my engineers. So I co-developed with a group called Altus Power. I have my own company. I do all the dirt work, all the permitting, all the land work, and then they put all the money into it. I don't have, about $1 million to build that. So they do, and we usually come out of it as either partners, or in this case, I would own the land, they would own the solar. And I would pretty much be the only person you're dealing with in town, though. They would simply finance it and hire the local crews to construct it. But they've done, I think, 160 of these. They're a pretty big group, and they're the only ones I work with after having.
Have you worked with others in Vermont?
I did the 2 in Highgate with Altus. I did the landfill with Altus. Not really. I mean, I'm pretty familiar with like Encore, or I think did the Brattleboro facility there in Burlington. Really familiar with Green Lantern, but I've never actually done work with a Vermont solar company. Certainly, we all know each other, but we would use, we don't, when I say we have a construction wing at Altus, we have 2 people that procure and hire. So we'd have to use Vermont licensed electricians, labor to smooth out the site. Every site, whether or not it looks flat, needs to be graded a little bit. And as I said, we would screen it, but I can't sit here and tell you that driving by it, you won't see it through the shrubs. So it's up to you. Again, if this were set back 100 feet, no brainer. But it's along the road. If you don't like the way they look, then I can see why. It might not be an easy call.
Does anyone know anything about the zoning requirements for that property?
See, we actually go through, unless solar goes through the Act 248, so it kind of takes away, it doesn't matter for these types of projects what the zoning is. The Public Service Board simply issues their CPG, whether or not it's residential, commercial,
It's all
industrial.
for the public goods, so they put them wherever they're pretty much.
You can do it anywhere. The key is you guys have the big hammer now, which was given to you like a year and a half ago, where you can say it's not a preferred site, and there's literally nothing I can build over 150 anywhere, whether it be industrial or commercial. So it's a good hammer, but yeah, zoning generally, I wouldn't say it doesn't matter. It would factor into their analysis, but it doesn't matter if it's industrial, commercial, or residential for me, as far as my application goes.
I think it's, I don't know. Guess we'd have to talk about it and see what they say. I mean, really, just what they would, you know.
Well, you gotta think about the other townspeople too,
Yeah.
not just,
There's one house that's kind of next to it, but it would be pretty screened. The owner's putting a little, I think he's building a little structure behind it, but it's, you know, he knows what he's getting into. I think across the street, there's a house, but,
Yeah, the one on Cross 30 used to give them quite a lot of trouble. Every time Bill wanted to do something there, they'd
yeah.
shoot him down, but.
yeah, and I don't know, somebody had mentioned, that Dollar was poking around there at one point, but I don't know if they still are. It seems like not a lot of traffic for a sort of a mini
Yeah.
big box, I guess, but.
Yeah, they're looking up this way now.
Yeah, I know they were in Townsend. They
Yeah.
were looking over there too with that.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about the other residents in the town and how they would feel about it being right on the road.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it, you know.
I mean, I can't imagine that we could make a quick decision about this.
Yeah,
As
I
Chris
know.
said.
It's I've done this for 10 years. I knew what I was getting into. It wasn't like this was the greatest site, and I was like, oh, this is a slam dunk. They're gonna love me. It's gonna be visible, you know.
Yeah.
Not right in your face visible. It's set back with shrubs, but it will be. So I mean, I've been in some towns in West Stockbridge. We did it right at the exit off the Mass Pike. It was an old brownfield. Actually, it was an old truck stop. We did about a 14-acre site there, and they were like, great. When people come into our town, we want to let them know we support renewable energy. I was like, wow, they were the most. They were, by the way, no neighbors, industrially zoned, old brownfield. It was a good use for it, different, but.
I don't want to speak for everybody, but I have heard from the school solar panels, that's sitting back away from the road, but you can still see it, and some people are still not happy about that visibility.
Yeah.
Right. But those are the worst looking solar panels I ever seen in my
I
life.
agree with you.
They couldn't
It's
even line
behind
them up.
the Newbrook
grade
Elementary
school.
School.
Oh, they're not pretty. Are they high up and move or?
No.
No,
They're
they
just
just,
ugly.
they just
They
like,
really did. And they did,
they
don't, I
did
don't think
great.
they did a great job putting them in there either, you know. They didn't
Yeah.
clean up around it a lot.
Yeah, and I'm like, honestly, again, you guys have to consider the aesthetics. I go after the environmental. I don't see any wetlands, and I see one tree, and I'm like, I can get through this without hurting any habitat. I'm like, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
But I know you guys have to consider the aesthetics.
We have limited land to build on in
Right.
the town. Because we're mostly forest here.
Mhm. No, I wasn't going to come in and try to make a hard sell. It's not. It's pretty simple. You guys can,
I mean,
you know.
I don't know if that's really up to us though to, you know, put it up to see what the town people thinks anyway. So I think they would almost,
Yeah, we would have to,
you'd almost have, no, I don't know if it's so hard to do. You'd almost have to go get the permit and then let the people have the hearings on the permit.
right.
But
Yeah.
It just delays it for him, you know. We could approve it and they might not like it, you know.
Right.
But,
I mean, based on what you're saying, I would guess that you're gonna, if you're hearing complaints about solar panels behind a school that's set back from the road,
Well, here's a simple
you might get
question.
screamed after this.
There's a simple question that we always have to ask ourselves, and with whatever we're doing or approving or thinking about, and that is, what does this do for the best interest for the town of Newfane?
Right. Listen, if I was sitting here offering you $50,000 a year in tax payments, net, you know, we don't put kids in schools, we don't burden the roads, that might change, but I think the formula's 10,000, we have two of them, same size.
Right.
And these are sand pits that are totally invisible.
Yeah.
And
It's totally different.
yeah, we actually, I bought 80 acres up there, and we used 5, and we gave the rest of the town. I mean, it was a great
You got
project.
How you go for it, but now though.
Yeah, there's other possibilities maybe.
Yeah, if you have others, I'd be happy to hear them. I mean, listen, the way I feel about it is, this goes back to how I grew up in this industry. When I started out with no money and I knew I couldn't afford to hire a lawyer, on my first few projects, so I had to pick them, so there's absolutely no opposition. So I picked sites that I wasn't gonna get yelled at. I don't like getting yelled at either, and I do not wanna go to a hearing and have like 30,
Right.
you know, native Newfaners screaming at me because I'm the guy from Connecticut trying to shove a solar project on their main road either. So that's the last thing, and it's tiny for the stuff we do in Mass. I mean, this isn't like
Well, I think we all feel for the owner who wants to sell the
Yeah.
property. You know, we would like that to happen for him. But at the same time, you know, we have to be concerned about the rest of the town members.
Well, maybe think about it. If something pops, if you talk to some people in town, if you think it might be different, let me know. Other than that, I'm not gonna hold him up either. I told him like, if as soon as I get a vibe, one way or the other, like if it's the other, you can go back and put it on the market. I'm not gonna tie you up. So
Do we have your contact information?
I probably have a card. Or do I? I'm so used to digital. I can write it down. We can do it the really old-fashioned way. You know, I got my cards. I can write it down.
Actually, if you give it to Juanetta, please.
Yeah, all right. I should probably put it
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you have other things in town that, you know, you want to explore, I know everything when you deal with the town usually has to go to RFP and auctions and stuff, but, you know,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be a sounding board for viability. You know, these things can be, they're pretty easy once you do them for a while, but not every site works from an electricity perspective, which is a big hurdle for us. The lines have to be good, so. Okay.
And you have our contact?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I'm probably going to tell the owner that he can go put it back out on the market. So if I walked in, you guys were like, this is awesome. You know, we heard Walmart was thinking about that site. Go ahead. You know, people love solar, put it right there. Then that would be the only way I was really gonna start putting money into this tomorrow.
Yeah.
But given there's some hesitancy, I'm probably gonna bow out and just tell him that it was understandably lukewarm. He should market it again, but for some reason you change your mind.
Like I said, I don't know if we've got the authority to say you can and can't sell it. It's just, like I said, he doesn't need zoning permits or nothing anyways, but
It's just the preferred side thing. The only thing you could do there is 150 kW, which is tiny. I mean, if that's an acre with setbacks, and that you cannot afford. You know, I think his sign says 130,000, but 150 kW, you really need to get the bigger one.
So what would be the benefits to Newfane, the town of Newfane?
taxes.
Taxes.
Taxes, in addition, other than,
Yeah, as I said, if there was anything else you were worried about there, you no longer have to worry about it. And I mean, I could sit here and guilt you guys with clean energy, climate change argument, but you know, you guys know the benefits of solar. The environmental benefits certainly are there, but
We did put one on the dump over here.
yeah. And I was going to say, if I could also have pitched you on selling you the net metering credits, which would have lowered the elementary school and the town building electric bills, but I'm pretty sure you guys already have an arrangement for that through that. I think it was the Wyndham Regional County transfer
Well,
station.
we did one on our landfill too.
Yeah, somebody's gotten you, I'm sure.
it's Green,
then there's-
Green Lantern?
Yeah, lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Done
yeah.
at the
So I
school.
worked with two of those guys pretty closely. I think
The
they
school's
mentioned.
got theirs through that system, but we've been offered through the other place down Brattleboro too.
Yeah, and yours. I mean, to be honest with you, this building is inconsequential. We'd have to have like a fairly large school, 2 or 3 of them really, to eat up all the power from one of those. I think on the 2 in Highgate we had Swanton, Highgate, the hockey rink, and the high school, and we had like 5 or 6 buildings that we powered. But yeah, that would have been it. It was electric bill savings, taxes, and the environmental benefits. Perfect for gravel pits and landfills, or old gravel pits. Dirt guys make more money than we can pay them if they still have good gravel. We have to make sure they're depleted.
Tell me what you are thinking about with environmental benefits, please.
It's just the clean energy, the moving from fossil fuels and nuclear and I guess harmful hydro. I guess there's good hydro to, a clean energy society. And we don't emit anything. We don't. There's no smoke. There's no noise. There's no
Right.
chemicals. There's no hazardous materials. It's just the cleanest form of energy production we have right now, and you'd be contributing to it. But that's the environmental I was thinking, and the fact that there's just not a lot of habitat there because it's a flea market that we're going to be taking out as part of the construction. And there's it's a complete environmental, wipe out of 2.5, 3 acres if you're doing one of these. It's worse than farming. I mean, just anything living in the soil is gone.
Any other questions?
It's fine. I
Well, like I said, I don't think we could really give the permission over tonight
No.
anyways.
No,
No,
no.
But, we just check it out too.
Yeah, people, if you get a really positive feel in town, let me know. I said I could just tell the landowner. I mean, I don't think it's going to sell in the next couple of months. So I can just tell them go back up. They said it looks decent. Even if we're not under contract, I'm sure you'd be fine with me coming here. So
Can you spell the name of your company that you mentioned before?
the group I work with now is called Altus, Altus.
ALTUS.
Altus Power. I think it's altuspower.com. I co-develop with them. I have my own group, but you're better off just looking at their website. I said I'm an environmental lawyer by trade. I teach the course at the law school around me, and I really try to find sites that aren't degraded, and I focus on those. I only do a couple a year now. And I just happened to drive by this one and it intrigued me. I called the broker, talked to the landowner, and we decided to give it a shot.
And you said you would use local people to do?
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to be, the civil work would be pretty modest, so we could use a local civil guy. We don't need big machines. It'd be trenching, mostly to bury the wire. And then the electricians would have to be Vermont licensed, so we'd use a group in Vermont, certainly.
Yeah.
And that's the racking. I think those from Ohio. Panels are foreign. Inverter would probably come from Mass.
How often are they maintained for maintenance purposes?
Never. From just lawn mowing and like trimming around the fence line. It's a real pain, all those posts and getting around them. But I say never. That's the only form. But usually once every 4 to 6 weeks. Most of the time you reseed it with after you clear it and put the posts in, put the topsoil back on, and you spread it with like a low growth like solar mix, so it doesn't grow super high, so you're not out there every other week in the spring. It tries to about every 4 to 6 weeks. But as far as cleaning it, I've never cleaned one in my life. I've never heard of one getting actually somebody going out there and cleaning the panels. Usually rain and snow take care of it, and then the biggest thing is the inverter, malfunctioning. So you have an electrician go out. It's all remote, so you find out if it's offline.
And you use a local electrician if that happens?
It would be the inverter rep probably. We usually use a group out of Lawrence, Mass, but they would drive out and fix it. That's a pretty specialty thing. In the job, the jobs. I always laugh at people with job creation in solar. There is a lot of job creation to start during the construction phase. But once it's operating, I mean. That's it, we need a landscaper. It doesn't create long-term jobs,
Right.
Yeah,
When the sun shines.
yeah, they don't move. I mean, they just sit there and, yeah, I mean, people try to tout, solar jobs, but really they're jobs like mine or electrician jobs or drillers or things like that. They're all from the construction side. They're not
Yeah.
long-term operational jobs.
Right.
Well, I appreciate it. I could talk about this for hours, so.
Well, thank you very much for
Yeah,
coming.
thank you.
Yeah, and let me know if for some reason, people, if you do mention it and people are interested, I'd be happy to come back and try again.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
What's on there?
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Be a good spot for it.
Yeah, that's on good. I heard one guy look. Get his phone number.
Okay.
I don't think we're bringing it up right now.
Anybody want to say something about this? You have any thoughts right now?
What, about that?
Yeah.
I'm against it. I'll be truthful with you, because I know the public in Newfane wouldn't want to drive down to Townsend and look at that damn thing.
I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, for aesthetic reasons, I feel the same way. I would not want to see it.
Right,
But
it's just,
that's just my opinion.
It also changes the characteristic of our
Yes.
town.
Yes.
Right.
And a lot of people don't want to see that big of a change.
Right.
right.
Okay, moving along for tonight. We don't have any unscheduled members of the public. And we have new business, but I just want to go back for a minute because Juanetta, the thing you wanted us to sign was saying we're doing in 2 weeks, we're going to wait for Melissa to come, right? And so all of this was just in case we signed it tonight. Okay, there was nothing else that you needed for tonight, okay? And we're putting aside the policies. So the next item on the agenda, new business, is something that Shelley had brought up through an email. I don't know if you emailed everybody, but she
No,
sent,
because that would be wrong. That would be against the rules.
okay, so there's, she sent a video, not a video, I'm sorry. She sent a copy of an announcement that was in the Brattleboro Reformer, and it was about the Brattleboro Select Board and other positions open in the Brattleboro government, and there was a photograph of something, and that it was an announcement that if anybody was interested in volunteering.
Right,
in
press
town of-
release.
Yeah, so you had a
For
thought
any
about.
vacancies, just a way to promote Newfane.
Mhm.
And not everyone realizes that we have vacancies in the town. People would see it in papers or whatever. And we can send it out to, the area media lists, that we could cultivate, or maybe there's already a list of media. Monetta, have you seen anything like that? A media list, like radio stations and newspapers and things like that,
Other than what I've
just for
looked-
bids.
Normally, we deal with the Brattleboro Reformer or the Commons.
Yes, the public announcements that are in the reform.
Excuse me?
Just what I've seen in the public
Right,
announcements
right.
in the reform.
For bids and stuff.
And that was
yeah.
from, wasn't that from the Reformer or was
Yeah, it was in the
from?
Reformer,
Yeah,
and, it's another way of, having other people recognize what we're doing here in Newfane.
mhm,
And, if they may say, oh geez, they're doing this, this, and this. Sounds like they're doing a lot over in Newfane. Maybe I'd take a look at a property over there. Maybe I would move there. So it's, another way of recognizing what Newfane's about, in a positive way.
but the purpose of this would be
To
to
get-
let
to
people
fill
know that we have
vacancies.
vacancies in
Right.
different positions, right?
The press release, it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So that would include the list that we got last week, or at our organizational meeting, right?
Yeah.
The vacancies there.
Mhm.
And would you suggest a photograph as what do you say?
It's always better to have a photograph because people will look at the photograph versus just looking at
Mhm.
words.
So,
know,
like, what
draws
kind,
their
do you have an
attention.
idea of what kind of photograph?
I don't know. Maybe even with Juanetta, you know, being that she's a new administrative assistant, you know, making the
What do
announcement.
you mean, like for our articles or something like that?
Yeah, this is for like a press release for the, not articles, but for vacancies available
Yeah.
in the town.
I mean, one way you could probably catch your attention with just a picture would be the emblem that we use for this, you know, for town of Newfane.
Oh, like from the front
put
of the
on the
building?
sign.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it
Yeah.
shows like the,
Mhm.
what was it?
Oh,
Right.
it's like a round emblem or
Yeah,
logo
it's in
or
the front of
something.
the building.
Yeah,
Well-
something like that, and then you go with the article alongside of it, and then you do see that once in a while in the papers where different ones do that,
Yeah,
like this thing.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
You could try that. I mean, it's not as
Well,
nice
it's a little
as
bit more bold, so, you know, at least it gets somebody to look, you know?
Yeah, people like to look at other people, not logos per se, but, I mean, it'd be nice, you know, I don't know, even making a press release that she's now our new administrative assistant to let people know that there's been a change, you know, in her contact information, and she could, you know, be in the picture with the vacancies, and she would be the one that would be contacted
Mhm.
Right.
It could be. I don't know.
with our
Would you-
logo in front of the sign.
Or standing in front of the
She
building.
might not want to be on.
Yeah, we have
Picture
to
in the
find out if Winnett, but something like Winnetta standing in front of Town Hall with the
Yeah.
logo
Yeah,
and saying, welcome Winnetta,
yeah,
something like that, welcome
Yeah.
Winnetta, new administrative assistant.
yeah.
And, well,
Juanetta wants you.
right,
There you go.
that's right, we want you.
Yeah.
And then give a list of the vacancies, come join us. And,
I mean, just using that press release as a format is
Yeah, I
probably
don't have to do it.
sufficient. You know, and I think it would be a great way for her face to be recognized by other members in the town.
mhm.
And maybe we could even get Carol and maybe, you know, if she doesn't want to be by herself, but the whole team, you know, that's here.
Sounds
Right.
good.
Right?
A little recognition, that's all
Would
you
you,
need.
would you set this up?
Coordinate that?
Would you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think having the whole, you know, elected and, what is it, appointed, officials, members here at the town building would be great. Because lots of times, you know, putting a name to their face,
Mhm.
you know, I know a lot of faces, but I don't know their names
Mhm.
and what they do.
Well, what about just the people who work here on a
Yeah.
daily basis?
Yeah.
Not like us and
No,
everybody
yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah. They see us on video, that's
Yeah.
enough.
Enough already with the video.
You know, I think that would be a great thing.
Sounds good.
Okay. So,
Positive.
yeah,
So I'll work with her about getting
Great.
a reporter up here, maybe taking a picture with everybody.
very nice. Thank
You
you.
know,
That's
do
good.
like, yeah,
And Winnetta, you have the list of the vacancies.
Yes.
I mean, we all do.
Yeah.
I think I have it in here, but
Yeah.
you have it. Okay, so then,
I would also suggest the Bucketville News, which is, comes out of Wordsboro,
yeah, I've seen that.
but a lot of people pick it up. It's just a freebie, and their ads are very inexpensive. And it'd be a great way to support,
I get it every week.
you get in there every week?
I get the thing every week.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I've been
in the
advertising
mail.
with them. I mean, a half-page ad is like $27.
Right.
Very inexpensive. And it's a local, you know, it's a local news.
Mhm.
Yeah. So they've been doing it for years.
Why don't we start with the reformer? Or you want the same ad, you want the
Yeah, I
same
think
thing?
probably the same one.
Just send one, the same?
And it's a press release, you know. We don't have to put it an ad even in Bucketville. We just write the press release, send it out to the Brattleboro Reformer and Commons and the Bucketville News.
Okay,
Anybody think of anybody else?
no, that's good.
And I think we should promote other committees, you know, if they're doing stuff, that they should, you know, do a press release as to what's going on. It's always great to, you know, get the word out that Newfane is here and doing stuff.
Well, I think for now, you want to just
Yeah.
do the vacancies.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So is everybody in agreement with that? We don't have to vote on this.
I don't think so.
No. Okay, so that would be great, thank you.
Mhm.
That's a great idea.
Mhm.
Any other comments? No.
Well, hey, another side thing is like on my LinkedIn.
You what?
On my LinkedIn,
Oh,
what is it called? Account, you know, on my page. I promoted Newfane with it, tied it in with the state of Vermont is giving away $10,000 to people to come and live here, work remotely and live here. So what better to do it, but I promoted Newfane, you know, as a place to come and live for, you know, new people to come here. And they can get a grant for $10,000. You know, they have to apply for it from the state of Vermont.
so to explain, how are you doing this on LinkedIn? I don't do any of this.
Well,
so-
it's kind of like Facebook,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
for professional, you know,
Mhm.
and I've gotten a lot of people that were, you know, liked it. So, and that they're from all over the world,
Right.
internationally,
Mhm.
and I have connections all over the world. So,
Mhm.
you know, the more we promote Newfane, the more, you know, we might have an interest in people coming here.
When you say we, I have to be clear about
Well,
this.
just the town.
I mean, are you doing this, or you're speaking for the select board?
No, I'm not speaking as a select board, I'm speaking as an individual. I just,
Just talking about.
it's okay that I do that on my LinkedIn.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
asking because I don't know, I don't do any social media, so I
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking
I
about.
often do it on my
It's a
Facebook.
lot of that's like business. Business.
What's
No,
that?
I know it's
Professionals,
business,
yeah.
but I don't know how it
Even
works.
like on Facebook, I invited my friends and family to come to Newfane. I'll give them a tour,
Of course.
you know?
That was good.
Okay. Okay, so we are tabling the old business, and we're moving that to April 1st. I don't think we have correspondence right now. No correspondence. We have a lot of things to sign, and so I think we are done with the formal part of the evening, and,
No correspondence?
excuse me?
Correspondence?
No
No.
correspondence. So it's 10 after 7, actually 12 minutes after 7. We hope everybody at home is safe. Be very careful on the roads these days that are very muddy in certain places. Just take your time. And we will see you on April 1st, 6 p.m., Newfane Select Board. Have a good evening. Thank you.